Hey guys, what is up? It is Spooky Noodles, and I am here with a writing vlog. Oh my gosh, so writing has been chaotic lately. I either am writing a lot at one time, or I'm like, I can't even write a sentence. So one day, I was writing, and I think I started at like 14,800 words, and I blasted out like almost 1,000 words. I ended up at 15,951 words, so I almost made it to 16,000 words. I'm on page 56, and I hit a wall, and then I hit a writing block. So the wall is just something that happened in my story where I don't know what to write next. It's a problem that I need to find a solution to. So usually when that happens, I go and try to write a short story or read, one of the two. And eventually an idea will click and I will continue through that wall, break it down, if you will. So this wall was very difficult. I didn't know how to go around it, so I eventually tried to go on and write a short story, like I sometimes do. I either write a short story or I read when I get into these predicaments. And so I was writing a short story. I got 1,000 words in, and then I hit another wall. And that's a really big wall. It's like the Great Wall of China type wall. Like, how do I get around this thing? How do I go through it? You know, how do I get over it? And it was like, I'm hitting way too many walls too easily with my writing, so I decided to just read. So then I go on to reading, and I just don't feel like reading. So I'm just kind of in a rut at the moment with writing, and today was a little better. I'm reading a little bit more today. Of course, I'm going to be helping my mom in the second year, but I read maybe a chapter of Until Summer Comes Around, and I'm trying to get myself to read Michael Patrick Hicks' new book, Born in the Deep, or Born of the Deep. But I don't know. For some reason, I really want to read a coming of age horror right now, and maybe that's my problem. Is I don't feel like writing these these type of horror stories. I don't know, but I'm getting around it, and it will. These walls will fall down eventually. No wall is meant to stand forever. Um, Unless, of course, it's my wall of depression. No, I'm just kidding. That was a stupid joke. It didn't even make sense. But yeah, there's my writing, right there. I did recently have my story edited, my Chuea Centipede story. Um, it was edited by my good friend Sarah Scutt, or not my friend, but my editor. She edited it, and now I just have to. I already went through all the edits and approved them. I even fixed a few things that I saw that she might have missed, and yeah, so that was fun. So the first story in my little book that I'm releasing soon, which is called The Novellas, which features two novellas. One is The Chuea Centipede, and the other is The Burden of Knowledge. So, this collection of, or this duo of stories is not going to be as good as Gray Matter per se, because Gray Matter took a long time to write, whereas these two novellas were one I wrote in the very beginning of my career as a writer. It was the first story I ever written or wrote. And then you have The Burden of Knowledge, which is my most recent novella, or what kind of my first novella in a way, in a sense, but I'll get into that maybe another time. But yeah, two novellas, two stories. I think they're both good enough on their own, but at the same time, I think they'd be better together. So I'm gonna release them together. My editors said that the next project is gonna be the burden of knowledge. I think she's editing someone else's story at the moment, and then she'll get to mine. So I'm very, very excited. Um, because obviously I'm gonna be releasing 2 novellas. They're very, very, very short novellas, but they're still novellas, nevertheless. So I'm very, very excited about it. There's like this light beaming in my eyes right now, so if you see me squinting, I apologize. The tortoise's heat lamp is dreadfully hot, and it's bright, so bright as all bananas. So, but yeah, I haven't really wrote that much in the past few days. There was just one day where I all of a sudden spat out like 1,000 words, or almost 1,000 words, and yeah. I usually just start off like I try to write 1,000 words a day, but when I hit blocks like this, I just try to rustle through them, and I don't know. I just haven't been feeling like writing. I've kind of, not to get into emotions, but I've kind of been feeling like a failure lately. I feel like I'm never gonna be able to top Gray Matter. But at the same time, I know I can produce work. Like, I've produced some really good stories in the past, and I feel like I can continue that run. But lately I've been feeling like a failure to everyone around me and myself. So I'm trying to battle through that aspect. I'm not saying Gray Matter did great. On release date, it did really good. But I just have this feeling that I'm never gonna top it, you know? And I don't want to be a one-hit wonder in a sense. So, and I'm really worried that the novellas, the book I'm gonna be releasing, isn't gonna be to par with Gray Matter. But, it won't matter because as soon as the novellas come out, I should have another story ready to hit the editing stage. I have, I want to say 4 stories I'm working on at the moment. I'm working on Triad, which is the one I'm really focusing on lately. I'm working on Take Me From Here, which is one that I hit a block in, and I decided to write something else for a little while, and which was Triad, and then Triad kind of just took over my life. So I better get back to Take Me From Here soon. It's like literally almost done. I just need a few more scenes written in, and yeah, I just need to find some entertaining things to do with that story, because right now it's kind of bland. Not gonna lie, but yeah. Then I'm working on Symbiotic, which is really close to done. It's like 175 pages at the moment, so it's an actual novel. Whereas the other 2 are novellas. Then you have a short story I'm working on called, I don't know if I should tell you what the name is, but Quarantined Quentin is what I'm naming it. It's about this kind of obese guy who, he's a gamer, and he's not really paying attention to the pandemic that's going on other than the alerts he gets on his phone. He gets everything delivered to him, he works from home, you know, so he has no reason to go outside or even look at the news. He doesn't own cable, so what's the point? It's kind of based on myself, per se, but only like an extreme version of myself, so... and I thought it would be a fun little story about a guy who's basically fighting against zombies during a donut run. But I don't know if that's actually what I'm gonna... I don't even know if zombies are gonna be the villains in the book or not. But I thought it would be a fun pandemic story to write. There's an anthology looking for pandemic stories, and I thought I'd try to jump on that while I can. So that's another story I've been writing. Quarantined Quentin. And yeah. Other than that, though, those are the 4 stories I'm working on. 1 is a short story, 2 are novellas, and 1 is a novel. Um, yeah, I have a lot in the works. I have short story collection I'm working on as well. I've gotten like 3 stories in that collection so far, 2 first persons and 1 third person. I'm trying to do what I did with the last collection, where I wrote 5 first persons and 3 third persons. So either I'm gonna do that again, or I'm gonna flip it and do 5 third persons and then 3 first persons. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna write a bunch of short stories and see which ones are best, and then I will see what it comes out to, you know. So yeah, right now, I want to give you a sneak peek, but I don't want to give anything away. But I have They Emerged from the Woods, which is an older story of mine that I didn't feel was, I mean, it's not that it wasn't good enough for Gray Matter, the first one. I just felt like it would make a really good start to the sequel. Like I think it's really good story, but it's like one of those stories that you start off with, you know, like it's the first in the series or in the collection. I don't know. I feel like it's a good opening up story to get you ready for what's within the book. So I decided to save it for the sequel that I inevitably would do, and now I'm doing it. So, They Emerged from the Woods will open up Gray Matter 2. Then you have a story called Roadkill, which I think I've already talked to you guys about all these stories before, but I'm just giving you the rundown of what's going to be in it so far. So Roadkill, which is about the road rage rapist and his obsession with eating what he kills. He lives by that, and yeah, it eventually catches up to him. Then you have a story called The Lancer Witch, which is kind of a Halloween story, but not really. It's like a Halloween version of La Llorona, or however you say her name, La Llorona. I don't really care. But it's that Hispanic story where the lady drowns kids in the lake. Very, very reminiscent to the story I wrote. Little different in some aspects, but basically it's La Llorona. But yeah, what else? Those are the 3 stories in that collection so far. I'm working on the 4th story, which is Quarantined Quentin. If it doesn't get accepted to the anthology, then it's going into the collection and it will be the 4th story in the collection. As you know, the first collection had 8 stories, so the second one will have 8 stories, if not more. We'll see. Depends how many I can actually write. I also have a few other ideas for short stories that I wrote down a while ago. I have this one short story which might become a novella. It depends on how much I get carried away with it. But yeah, The Thing in the Ward is what the story is called. I don't know if I already said that. Thing in the Ward is about this cancer patient, which, as you know, I used to be a cancer patient, so I kind of know what it's like being a cancer patient because I was one. So this cancer patient goes into chemo. He has his cancer has developed into stage 4, and now he needs all this other new stuff, you know. He's tried everything though. He's tried radiation, chemotherapy, he's tried bone marrow transplant, he's tried a blood infusion or whatever, you know, he's tried everything, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And he's at the end of his ropes. If his cancer doesn't turn around, then he's doomed to death. And then the hospital says they're trying a new trial of medication, and that he may be interested in it. And it's for his cancer. So he accepts and he goes into a ward with a few other patients. I think there's maybe 4 or 5 patients. I haven't really decided. And then there's the nursing staff. And let's just say things go horribly awry when one of the patients has a bad reaction to the new experimental drug. That's all I'm going to say about the thing in the ward. I'm very excited about this story, but I haven't really started it. I started it a long time ago, and then I just decided that I got bored of the story because I kind of had it all outlined and planned on how it was going to end. And then I got bored because I always get bored when I do that. I don't like outlining books because knowing what's going to happen while you're writing is just boring to me. It's almost like reading. Like if you went on ahead and read all the cliff notes about how the book ends, and then you were to go and read said book, I'm just grabbing the first book I see. You go and read that said book, you're gonna get you're gonna be like, you know what's gonna happen, so what's the point of reading the book? You know, that's kind of how I feel about writing. You know, being a pantser. I like to write and not know where I'm going, and then when I get there, be excited and happy, and you know, that's just how I roll. That's how I roll. So, and I don't think pantsing is bad. A lot of famous authors do it. I can only name one on the top of my head, and that's Stephen King. And that's a very prolific author. So, yeah. I just write until I get there. I forgot where I was going with this, the little tangent. But Thing in the Ward is either going to be a short story or it's going to be a longer thing of work. Oh, I don't know if I want to make it a novella or not. It just kind of depends on where it goes. We'll see. Then I have another one. Please don't take these ideas. If you do take these ideas, then please make them really good and maybe give me a shout out at least. But I'm sure all these ideas have been done before. Trust me. No idea is really brand new. You can have new ideas, but you can't have new... I don't know. What's the thing I'm trying to think of? There's no new story, but there's new ideas to stories, if that makes sense. Because almost everything's been done. Of course, there's times where you have something so bizarre that it's just like crazy thrown out there. But my idea is about this lady who, just some lady. I don't know if I want to make it like one of those like Knuppins stories. For lack of a better word, I don't know if I want to make it a story where the person is horrible and then they get their Knuppins, but I don't know if I want to do that or not. Let me back this up a little bit. Sorry. I don't know if I want to do that with this character. I was gonna make her a mean person, you know, she defends serial killers, she's a lawyer, a defense attorney, if you will. But I don't know if I want to go down that route. I'm just thinking about making it some random lady. And basically, she receives an urn in the mail with someone's ashes. She doesn't know whose ashes they are, but all she knows is she's been mailed some ashes, and why, when, how, and you know, all this random strange stuff. And I have a few ideas for the story, but that's just kind of the rundown from the gist of it. This lady just receives an urn in the mail one day, and my brother and I have been trying to make some cool ideas and cool twists to the story. Like, his twist was that maybe it's her ashes. My twist was that maybe she murdered someone and this is someone mailing her the ashes. I haven't really decided what I'm gonna do with the story yet, but I think it will make an appearance in the new Gray Matter. Then I have my let me reach over here. My Magic 8-Ball story. Will the story be good? Try again later. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if the Magic 8-Ball story is going to be a novella, novel, I don't know why I said it like that, novel, or a short story, but, I'm working on it. I'm having a lot of fun making the cover for the Magic 8-Ball story. I think I'm gonna make it change the name of the story, but that's what I'm rolling with at the moment. I maybe name it something like Bad Luck or something like that. I don't know. But I have the cover made for it, and I love what I did with the cover. So yeah. But sorry for my bad hair. But yeah. I have a bunch of short story ideas. Like, I come up with short story ideas like on the reg, which is regular. Like, let's open up what I have here. I have a story I wrote so long ago that I still need to finish. And that is the Coburn Expedition. And the Coburn Expedition is about these friends who take this boat out on the lake. I don't know which lake yet. Maybe Lake Superior or something. I don't know. Lake St. Clair. I don't know. I'm just randomly naming lake names. For all I know, it could be Lancer Lake. I don't care. But there's this boat, and it sunk a long time ago. And the guy hears it from his grandfather. Talking about how his great-grandfather, how his friend used to be on that boat, and when it sank, he was sad and blah blah blah. And he told the story about all the riches that were on the boat, and his friends he thinks he knows where it is based on his grandfather's journals. So they go looking for the boat, and they found the boat, and they take all the treasure from the boat. That's all I'm gonna say about it. That's the Coburn Expedition. I worked so hard on it. It's actually a pretty big file here. I don't know if I ended up finishing it or not. I'm gonna open it up right now and see how far I got with it. I made this little cover for it and everything. It looks so stupid, but I worked hard on it nevertheless. And yeah, I didn't get far at all. Yeah, I didn't get far at all. It's so old that I didn't even double space it, and the lettering is yeah, it's just not double spaced, and that's something I learned you have to do when I got older, or when I became more what's the word I'm looking for? Anyways, oh, here's a story I wrote a long time ago. And this is a long time ago as well, because once again, it's not double spaced, so let me really quickly double space it and see how long it actually is. It's only 2 pages long, and it's just about this lady who finds her newborn in a crib, and that's all I'll say about that. Let me save that real quick and close out of it, and let's close out. Oh no, let's not close out of that one. Some of these I don't even remember writing. Like, there's one called Mannequin-Filled Trash Bags. Or, I totally messed up that name. I think what it meant to be was trash bags filled with mannequins. Or mannequin parts. Or just maybe the name should have been Mannequin Parts. That would have been more creepy sounding. But that one's, I don't know what that one's about. But Spare Blankets, I remember that one. Sorry, I accidentally closed out of the camera. Like I was talking about, Spare Blankets is about this guy who's trying to impress this lady, his lady friend, by doing some charity work. He actually does not care about people at all. He's kind of a jerk, honestly. and they're handing out spare blankets to the homeless, and one of the homeless guys getting kind of he's they've I haven't really decided what I remember not deciding what I wanted to do with the story, but basically they either run out of blankets or something, I don't remember. Maybe he gives the blanket to his the lady friend who's cold, and then some random homeless guy comes up and asks for a spare blanket. She's gonna give it to him, but then he's like, no, 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 that's gonna keep you warm, screw this homeless guy, basically. And then he probably swings on the homeless man and knocks him out, and then the homeless man puts a curse on him. So that's what Spare Blankets was kind of about. This guy gets cursed by a homeless man because of spare blankets. That's all I had for my idea. The Beckoning Revolver, that was a stupid story, which I decided to change into the Magic 8 Ball story. Then you have the Burden of Knowledge. I actually, that's a different story right there. That's a novella. Coburn Expedition. What's that? Coburn Expedition. This one actually has more written down for it. Let me actually This is an old story, so it needs to be double space. Let's see how much I actually wrote. Oh, this is 8 pages. This would be perfect for my short story collection. I can read out the first chapter. This is an old story, so it probably needs some editing, so I apologize if I stutter or trip over a sentence or something, because it's an older story, so it's definitely gonna be rusty. I've become a much better writer since then, so we'll see what it sounds like. I stared down at my hands, manufacturing hands, and focused on the dirt underneath my fingernails. I wasn't much for cleanness. I think I meant to say cleansiness. Cleansiness? I wasn't much for cleansiness. That's not a word, is it? Cleanliness, that's it. I wasn't much for cleanliness, but usually I would have had time to wash up before leaving work. But I was in a rush to get to the docks in time. I attempted to get dirt out from underneath my fingernail, but to no avail. The boat rocked a bit, and it made me grip the side of the short little tugboat. The motions of the boat used to make me sick to my stomach, but I eventually got used to it. I had to, since my friend Zach, for the past 2 years, was a diver. So there's a lot of problems. That's the first paragraph, and there's a lot of problems with it already. I see back in the day, way back in the day, like 2-3 years ago, when I first started writing, I would start writing my stories in the third person, and then all of a sudden I'd be like, you know what, I wanted to write this in the first person. So I'd change all the words and make it the first person, and I would forget to change things like his friend, into my friend. So it just reads funny. So yeah, that was the problem with that one. I think I know what I'm gonna do here. Oh, here's one that was fun to write. Or not fun to write, but it was something I started writing and then I stopped. It's called The Laughing Epidemic. And that's kind of actually a funny story, how I came up with that idea. So I was listening to this creepypasta a long time ago, and it was about this guy who, it kind of freaked me out. That's why I remember it. It's about this guy who I don't know, I really remember the creepypasta very well, but basically he ran into some guy who wouldn't stop laughing. And for some reason the story kind of creeped me out a little bit. And then I was like, what if there was like a whole town of these type of people? You know, these people who were maniacally laughing and causing havoc. So I wrote The Laughing Epidemic, you know, as a answer to that question. And I had this whole twist planned where he rides up in a helicopter after the army saves him from the laughing epidemic, and then he succumbs to the laughing epidemic, causing the helicopter to crash. That was my original ending. I don't know if I'm still gonna do that or not. But yeah, and that's really all the ideas I have for right now. The short story collection should be done, I want to say, by the end of the year. I just have to come up with some new ideas. But Spare Blankets, the Coburn Expedition. Oh, here's one, Doppelman. I'm sorry, this video's going on forever, but I think I finished writing the Doppelman a long time ago. And alright, so the Doppelman. Doppelman was a fun story, kind of like a Bloody Mary story. It's about this guy, you say your name in the mirror a certain amount of times, and then your reflection will become its own entity. And why you would do that, I don't know. But these kids decide to do it, and they summon the Doppelman, who assumes their identity. They kill their doppel, and then they throw it in the mirror, and then that Doppelman, or the reflection, becomes its own entity. It was a cool idea, but I didn't know how to run with it, so I never finished it. So that was that. Then there's one more, which is called The Kid in Room 12, which is about this guy who attempts suicide, or not guy, but this kid who attempts suicide, and he gets thrown into this mental hospital, and he wants to escape because he doesn't like the way they're being treated. So they decide to escape, and they try to help this one kid escape who they believe is being abused the most. And that kid turns out to be in there for a reason. So, interesting, but I didn't know what to do with it. So if y'all want to take some of these ideas, let me know, and I could totally send you the document, because some of these I'm never gonna actually finish. But like the Coburn Expedition is basically done, so I'm probably actually going to use that for my short story collection. It's actually cool that I just pulled that up. I just have to go through it and read a little bit of it, and then we'll we will use it. This is so old that it doesn't have all my updated stuff. There we go. The Coburn Expedition. And the reason why it's called the Coburn Expedition is I actually based it off a ship that sank a long time ago in the Lake Michigan. So if you looked it up, you would realize that it actually exists. So that's pretty cool. But that's all my ideas for right now. I don't know why I kind of went on a little bit of a tangent with that. But those are the projects I'm working on at the moment. Writing is very, very stressful at the moment. It used to be a lot of fun to write, but now I feel like I have a lot of pressure on me to, because my author friends have been telling me how I need to release my next book like as soon as possible, and I feel like that rush feeling is going to affect my next book, because like I said, the next book is the novellas, which has 2 novellas in it. short novellas, but novellas nevertheless. I feel like I kind of just took two stories that I was working on, turned them into novellas, and then paired them together. And I feel like it's been rushed a little bit. I mean, I'm editing them and trying my best to make them the best quality as possible, but I mean, people are going to be used to the Gray Matter short story collection, so they're not going to be ready for some longer stuff by me. But I am releasing it, even though I have this bad feeling it's not going to be good. The cover's amazing, so just buy it based on the cover alone. You've seen the cover before, but maybe I'll throw up an image or something, I'm not sure. Probably too lazy to do that, but yeah, that's all my ideas that I have going on. I have the Gray Matter 2, which starts off with Emerge from the Woods, then Roadkill, and then the Lancer Witch, and I will be adding another one to that soon. Yeah, that's all you need to know. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. This has been a writing vlog. I'm sorry it was really long, but writing vlog, I had a lot to talk about. I had a lot of stuff to talk about, so I apologize, but I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you have a spooky night. I'll catch you in the next writing vlog, or in the next video. Peace out, guys.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.